in high school, I suffered with depression. And I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I think a lot of people can understand and be able to know what I'm going through and what I talk about and be able to be like, yeah, I understand. So I'm just going to tell you kind of my story of my struggle with depression. It all started when I was in high school. My freshman year of high school, I was making a lot of bad decisions. I had come from a charter school where it was very small, and I got to a public school and I started to act out. And I started to get bullied and picked on, with the decisions that I was making in high school, trying to be cool. And I ended up getting bullied really badly. I was called a whore and a slut, and I was told that I should die. I had rumors spread about me, and it made me feel like I was terrible. And it's something that I wish not even my worst enemy to go through, because that was a really hard point in my life. I would cut my wrist, and I would tell myself, if I die tonight, if I just die, if I get into a car accident and I die, I can be happy. And that's not something that any 14-year-old should ever be thinking about. I was able to make it through, though. I had a lot of struggles along the way, but I made it through high school. And overall, by my senior year, I was good. I was working, and life was good until I got into a relationship that at first seemed like it was great, until everything took a turn for the wrong. I found myself quitting my job. I'm alienating my family, ignoring my friends who were there for me, all because of this guy. He didn't want me talking to anybody. He didn't want me being friends with anybody. He didn't want me talking to my family. It was hard, and I wish I could say that that was the worst, but from there, it just kept getting worse. I was very controlled. I was able to get away for a while, and I actually got pregnant, and I had a miscarriage. Because I was under a lot of stress. And so, he was not any help in any of that. There was a lot of things that he said to me that I don't wish on anybody. And it was something that put me even farther down. And I ended up going back to him because I thought maybe he can change. Maybe he's a better guy. Not the case. Unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way that he wasn't. He ended up starting to hit me and push me and telling me that he was going to burn all my things. There was an incident where he was throwing empty vodka bottles at me in his front yard, locking me out of his house. It was really bad. And I was at such a low point in my life that I felt like if I didn't stay with him, I don't know what I would do with my life. I would rather endure the beatings and the verbal abuse than to be alone, because at least with that, I knew what to expect. And that was the depression. I would rather know that I'm going to get beat every day or emotionally and verbally abused every day than to go back to my family and say, look, I messed up. I want your help. Luckily, I was able to do that eventually, but I wasn't able to do it on my own. I had another guy kind of rescue me, and that was great for a while. We ended up getting together, and he was a really nice guy for a while until I started taking care of him. I was working, I was doing everything, and he was doing nothing. We moved into my parents' house, and he would sit home all day doing nothing while I was working and trying to do everything I can to support him and me. And in December 2014, I ended up getting pregnant with my son. And he ended up leaving me at 12 weeks pregnant. And that was when things kind of got really bad. I told myself, like, I'm never going to move on. I don't know how I'm going to be able to raise this child on my own. It was something in my life that, that was my longest relationship. I had never had to deal with that. So it was really hard because I always expected that when I had a child that it would be with the right person and I wouldn't have to do it alone. But I went through the pregnancy all by myself. And he told people that he wanted me to get an abortion, that he didn't want his child, and it was something that really kind of put me down to even farther than I was, because I did nothing but love this child, and I felt like I couldn't give this baby 2 people's worth of love. But I ended up having him September 1st of 2015. And that's when I met the guy I'm with now, actually. And things were great. I met friends and I was good. I started to feel better, and then we broke up. And I felt destroyed. I had opened my heart to him, and after I had been crushed by my son's father, and I fell into this deep depression, and I ended up I had postpartum depression. I couldn't sleep at night because I was afraid that if I went to sleep, my son would die. I couldn't sit in a car without worrying that the car was going to crash. I would picture in my mind, like, if this car is going to crash, like, what's going to happen? How am I going to die? I was so worried about dying and everyone around me dying. And it was really hard on me. And I ended up getting into another relationship that was really bad. He was verbally just a really mean person and very vindictive. And I ended up, getting into a bad situation. He ended up giving me an STD. And it was really hard for me because, you put your trust into somebody and they totally just wreck it. And he blamed it on me, and he called me a whore, told me that I need to die, that I'm nasty, and it wasn't me. I I had never had an STD before, and when I showed him the proof, it was like all of a sudden he was like, "I love you. I'm sorry. Sorry, ears. I just gotta chill." Um, he was like, "I love you. I'm sorry," but by then I had this hatred for him. Like, you don't get to just say those things to me and expect me to just come back to you when you're wrong. So I left him, and I was alone for a little bit, and then I got back together with the guy that I was with before him. And we're actually still together to this day. It'll be 1 year on Saturday, March 18th. And he kind of helped me out of this depression a little bit, but it took a lot of work. When we first got back together, I was always still so worried about everyone leaving me and nobody wanting to be my friend and being so alone that I ended up pushing him away, and we almost broke up over it. Because when you're with someone who's always so depressed, it's hard. It's hard to see someone you care about like that. So, I ended up getting help. I went to a counselor, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and a disorder that makes it hard for me to deal with everyday life changes. Um, it was something that I really struggled with. I was diagnosed with an adjustment disorder, which is the definition of it is, or mental health definition, is someone who struggles with changes, period. It could be a good change. Say, when I graduate college, just the changes of it can set me into this spiral emotion of depression. And so just being in this happy relationship, it was a change for me. I hadn't been this happy in a long time, that the change just sent me in a spiral. So I ended up going to therapy, and things started to get better. And, I'm good. I'm I have my ups and downs still, and I still struggle with it every day, but overall I'm good. Basically, my message is that depression isn't something that is going to stay gone forever, but you'll eventually learn how to deal with it and cope with it. And maybe medication can help it. Maybe it is something that'll go away. Sorry, it's late. I want you to know that you're not alone. That if you feel like you are alone and you just need someone to talk to, throw a comment down below. We'll communicate, and I'll be there for you. Because I would have loved for anything more than someone to be there for me when I was in my depression. Just know that you will always have someone there for you. I want to hear your guys' depression stories, or your mental health stories in general, or just any story of, your life. I want to know. Put them in the comments down below, and I'll read them, and I'll get back to you guys. Thank you for watching and listening to my story. It means more to me than I can ever express. Thank you. I love you guys.